Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 6th edition of Primetime Pards, where we feature former Lafayette students who have gone on to excel in their chosen fields. Our guest tonight is former Lafayette baseball player, now a Major League Baseball player, David Bednar. Before we get started, I do have a few announcements. If you've been with us before, you've heard these before, but again, they certainly are worth repeating. For optimal viewing of tonight's show, changing to speaker view right now is strongly recommended. To ensure the best possible experience for everyone, the microphones of all attendees will be muted. And during the audience Q&A portion of the show, please utilize the raise your hand feature, which can be found by opening participants. And we certainly do encourage questions for David during the evening. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to once again introduce to you Sharita Freeman, the Director of Athletics at Lafayette College. Sharita.
Thank you, Gary, and good evening, everyone. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all of our participants and a sincere thank you for joining us this evening. For those of you that are celebrating Hanukkah this evening, happy Hanukkah and a happy holidays to everyone. This is our 6th installment of Primetime Pards. They have all been phenomenal and lots of fun, and no doubt tonight we'll follow that trend. So I'm excited to hear from our special guest tonight, David, and thank you for joining us to share some words about our primetime part for today. I'd like to welcome our recently named head baseball coach, and we are really excited for his first season, Tim Riley.
Thanks, Sharita. It's an honor for me to be able to introduce Dave tonight as part of Primetime Pards. You know, I didn't have the privilege of coaching Dave, but when I got here 3 years ago as an assistant coach, I heard the legend of David Bednar, from the guys who were on the team to anybody that had anything to do with the team, and really just how much and how they talked about Dave made you realize it wasn't just about ability and talent. It was really who he was. So I had a chance to meet Dave last year in our career networking night in New York City. And just after the first couple minutes of talking to him, I could tell what an incredible person this was. Just the way he talked about his teammates and just the way he talked about his experience at Lafayette, and was selfless about everybody that had helped him get to his success and where he is now, above the ability and the talent. Just what a great person Dave is. This spring when everything shut down, Dave came on and talked to the guys on the team. And I think of all our speakers this spring, he was the best story. So I'm really excited that everyone tonight gets to hear that story, because above being a great baseball player, he's also an incredible person. So enjoy this.
Thank you, Tim, and congratulations to you as you head into your first year as the head baseball coach at Lafayette College. Let me give you a little background about David Bednar, if you don't know it. While at Lafayette, he was a 3-year member of the baseball team, appearing as a right-handed pitcher. He finished his career with the Leopards with a 7-16 overall record, recording a 3.79 ERA over 166 and a third innings. He threw 8 complete games while striking out an amazing 188 batters. His strikeout number currently puts him 3rd all time in career strikeouts in the Lafayette record book. Now, here's the amazing part of his story. Bednar was selected in the 35th round as the 1,044th overall pick by the San Diego Padres in the 2016 Major League Baseball draft. He made his Major League debut last season on September 1st, 2019, and appeared in 13 games for the Padres, pitching 11 innings with a 6.55 ERA and striking out 14. In 2020, David appeared in 14 games for the Padres, pitching in 6.1 innings and striking out 5. In a Padres uniform, he is listed as 6'1", 249 pounds, 26 years old, and he wears number 67. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Major League Baseball player David Bednar. David, I guess my first question to you is your number 67. Is there any significance to that, or as a rookie, you didn't have much choice?
Honestly, I showed up in the clubhouse that first day, and that was the number there, and I'm not going to complain about it. So it is what it is.
So you weren't a diva at all? You didn't press for your
no, as long as I'm wearing that jersey, I have no complaints at all.
Well, I don't blame you at all. Your story is a storybook one, really. When we talk about high school, Lafayette, the draft, the major leagues, and of course, then COVID hit, which shortened last season. But what has been the effect of the virus so far in terms of Major League Baseball? What do you know about what's going to happen?
I mean, COVID-19 as a whole has kind of devastated, like not only just the baseball stuff, but the whole world. So this past year has definitely been a big challenge, and definitely going into spring training last year, it's not how I completely envisioned that year going, but made the most out of it, and just trying to adjust on the fly, and here we are.
Well, let's talk about how you got to where we are, and we'll go back, I guess, to your high school years. You literally are a man from Mars. You went to Mars High
Fighting
School,
planets.
right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mars fighting planets.
Tell us a little bit about your high school years and playing ball for your dad, Andy.
Oh yeah, a lot of good memories looking back. I mean, not obviously at the time having my dad as a coach was a lot of tough love, but looking back, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So a lot of good memories, a lot of long road trips, traveling to all kinds of different games, and having him be my high school baseball coach, and kind of coach all the way through. We had the same group of guys kind of playing together since we were probably like 10, 11 years old. So kind of he coached us all the way up, and that was a really cool experience.
It must have been a bit unusual, first of all, having your dad as a coach. I know he played baseball at Cornell, but he was also in your high school, right? He's a high school math teacher.
Oh yeah, I had him for ninth grade advanced algebra, so that was a whole lot of fun.
And what is it true what everybody says, the father as a coach is harder on you than anybody else?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely some tough love without a doubt, but like I said earlier, I would not trade it for anything now looking back.
Your high school career was obviously a successful one. You were all section team in your junior and senior year, MVP of the Whippeal All-Star game. And anybody who knows Pennsylvania sports knows how powerful the Whippeal is in terms of a conference. Back in 2013. Your mom, of course, Sue, a dental hygienist. So you've been surrounded, obviously, by educated people. So I assume education was primary on their minds in terms of your development.
Oh yeah, for sure. They always kind of were really tough on me in the classroom and everything like that, and made sure I had the good grades and everything. So that was always kind of priority number one, and athletics kind of came second, I guess.
Any other sports besides baseball in high school?
I played football until I was a sophomore, and then I had a back injury, so that kind of put the brakes on that.
And any other position in baseball besides pitching in high school?
Funny enough, I used to catch up until probably my sophomore year. I was still trying to figure out what to do, either pitch or catch in college, and I couldn't hit at all. I was really bad at it, so that kind of made the decision pretty easy.
Well, I can understand that. I was a pitcher too in college. I couldn't hit either, but I could bunt. Could you bunt?
No, not much of
What?
that either.
What kind of coach did you have?
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm sure your dad's watching too. And he probably said, I tried to teach him how to bunt. Talk a little bit about your family. I know your brother's a baseball player.
Yeah, my brother's at Mississippi State right now. He's a COVID freshman, I guess you could say again, and he had a really successful freshman year. And with the draft coming up, he's looking pretty good with that. And then my sister Danielle is a junior in high school, and she just committed to St. Francis to play softball.
So a very athletic family, and obviously an academic family that makes education very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So now you have to make a decision. You come out of high school. You're obviously a pretty good pitcher. Were you getting a lot of looks?
Not really. It was kind of a painful, not a painful process, but it wasn't. It didn't really come too easy. I didn't really throw super hard kind of throughout that whole recruiting process, and I didn't have a whole lot of offers. It was basically between two or three other schools other than Lafayette. It all happened probably late in like October of my senior year. Coach Kinney actually drove across the state and watched me throw a bullpen at like 9 o'clock in the morning and like 45 degrees. And it was funny because he's talking to my dad on the way there. He's like, well, what's the offer have to be to go there? And it ended up being, that's what it was. So it was like, we're going. So it was, it was kind of a no brainer. The academics and the athletics at Lafayette were, second to none.
I think I can be pretty much 100% accurate in thinking that you weren't going to go to Lafayette because you wanted to become a Major League Baseball pitcher. The two just don't. I mean, I think we've only ever had 4 who have ever accomplished that. You're one of the 4. So I don't think that was even in the back of your mind, was it?
Honestly, out of high school, no. I was just kind of at the time, just kind of happy to just play at the next level, play at college, just try and establish myself at Lafayette and try and get some innings. And then it wasn't until probably my my sophomore year until I kind of things started clicking, like, oh, okay, this is actually a real possibility.
So you had to make a decision about what you wanted to be, and Major League Baseball was not one of the choices. So you went to Lafayette knowing you're going to get a great education. So talk a little bit about that education, your experience, what you thought you were going to get out of it. And obviously things turned around a little bit in a different direction.
Yeah, so my first year, I I was intending to go for chemical engineering, and then after about a semester and a half, that came to a halt. I decided that was not going to be for me, and I decided to change my major to econ, and still on the hunt for that. Still working on that someday, but hoping to graduate here soon.
Well, I think the message is important that Lafayette obviously has kept in touch with you. You've got 3 years of your education in. I'm sure you're looking to get your degree, and you've been getting some help from the college, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been I've been in touch over the past couple of years with Professor Averett. She's been a great help. She's kind of been like just guiding me through this process, and once or twice a year, I'll try and reach out and just make sure kind of everything's on par and I'm doing what I need to do to, keep that in line. And because I do eventually want to get my degree. But my mindset initially was, baseball's right now, and I can always kind of come back and finish up school.
I think probably the one good part about being a baseball player is there are times during the year that you can pursue that. I assume you're 15 credits, 30 credits short?
Just that one, 2 semesters worth.
Okay, so you're right there on the cusp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and obviously we'll be proud of you. You get that Lafayette degree. Your college experiences other than baseball, what things stick out in your mind?
Honestly, some of the big highlights were really the that come to mind were the Lafayette Lehigh football games, all of them really. But especially the one at Yankee Stadium. I was a sophomore for that, and that was just a really cool experience. We all kind of went up a day early and just kind of hung out in New York City, and it was, really, really, really cool. So that was awesome, and obviously all the other ones at Lehigh and Lafayette were both a lot of fun. But other than that, no one thing really sticks out. Just kind of all the memories you make with all your friends and teammates, and just going to dining halls, going to walking around the campus, going to all the parties, going to Milo's, going to campus, all that stuff. So just really those lasting friendships that you kind of develop in college, and they really stick with you, as I'll talk about a little bit later when they all came to my debut, which is really cool.
I know a lot of your teammates are joining us tonight, and I know you're a little fearful of what they might ask.
Oh yeah, I'm glad they're all on mute right now.
Maybe too many years have passed and nobody can charge you with anything. I'm sure. All right, let's talk. All right, now you're a baseball pitcher at Lafayette College, and your debut is at Fairleigh Dickinson. I know we have a few pictures of that, but tell us a little bit about how you were feeling. You're going out on the mound, and this is the kind of weather you had to deal with.
Yeah, so my first college outing, it's Fairleigh Dickinson in February, and there's snow over the field. Thankfully, they had turf, and like the day before they had to like plow the whole field. And as you can see, there's just mounds and mounds of snow, and it was freezing, and the snow everywhere. So even on the like warm up bullpen mound. So that's basically in the parking lot. They set up like two kind of plastic mounds to get ready, and welcome to college baseball. So I think I ended up throwing pretty well that game. But yeah, definitely an interesting memory of my first appearance.
How nervous were you?
Definitely pretty nervous. My family was able to make the trip. So that was really cool seeing them there, but definitely nervous, definitely exciting, and but good to get that first one in the belt.
Speaking of making the trip, I know one of the trips that was special to you in your career was when you went to Charleston.
Yeah, so that was just another one of the baseball trips. That was just a lot of fun. I think it was over our spring break, and my cousin played football at the Citadel, and we were playing them for a 3-game set on the weekend, and their spring game was on Saturday. So pretty much my whole extended family came down. They were able to watch me throw on that Friday. And then we were able to kind of, after our game on Saturday, we were all kind of able to scoot out and go watch him play, which was really cool.
Your college career was under Joe Kinney. Joe recently retired, as Tim is now the new head coach. Talk a little bit about playing for Coach Kinney.
Joe Kinney was a really tough guy, a lot of tough love, but he wanted to make everybody better, and very intense, and just definitely kind of portrayed that toughness onto all of his players. So I'm very thankful for Coach in my career and my development as not only just a player but as a person.
Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but everybody that's played for Coach Kinney can imitate Coach Kinney. And I know he's going to be watching. He's not watching tonight because he had another engagement, but he will be watching when this goes on YouTube. So I hope you're ready. But do you have an imitation of Coach Kinney?
I could do one. I know some of my teammates have way better ones, but I would just be, one of his go-to lines was "Bow your neck, son," and with that deep voice, and you basically knew you had to toughen up and get through it. So yeah, that was one of his go-to lines if you're a little adversity.
All right. At this point now, did you still have any thoughts at all that you were good enough to maybe get to another level? Maybe not the major leagues, but at least to the minor leagues?
Yeah. So after my sophomore year, I went down to the Coastal Plains League and played in summer league and with the Eatonton Steamers, and my roommate Trevor Houck actually came down with me, and it was an awesome experience. But so I threw the ball pretty well that summer, and kind of put my name out there, put my name on the map, and that's kind of when I got a sense of it was a pretty real possibility, and so that's kind of when that started taking off.
And you had to have an inkling. I mean, obviously the numbers would give you an inkling that you could really kind of overpower people. You pitched 166 innings at Lafayette, but struck out 188 batters and threw 8 complete games. Those numbers are very impressive. Were you impressed?
Honestly, looking back, at the time, I was just more kind of just trying to go week to week and do whatever I could to, help us get some W's. But definitely looking back, third all time, the strikeouts it's a cool little thing.
And there's the asterisk. You only played for 3 years. So there is a good possibility that you could have been number one in the record books.
I think that one's a little out of reach. That was like, I needed a lot more to get there, but definitely something to shoot for.
So when did you start thinking draft?
Probably that junior season, whenever had some scouts come to some games and just kind of had a little bit of interest from also kind of some conversations with some of my summer coaches and stuff like that, and just kind of started to get a feel for what that next level would be like. So, and then after my junior year, I had a pre-draft workout where, that with the Padres actually, and that's kind of when my interests really started kind of going up.
And tell us a little bit about the process. Do you put your name into the draft and that now ends your college career? Or do you put your name in, if you're not selected, you can go back and finish out your college career?
It's basically just if you're drafted and you decide you want to go, then you're gone and you can forego your senior year or whatever. But you don't have to sign up or anything like that.
Okay, so you just sit and wait.
Yeah, basically.
Well, that maybe is the most interesting part of the story. Had you gotten an agent yet, or is that something you didn't want to do because that could have ruined your college?
I did not have an agent at the time. I was just kind of in contact with one or two of the area scouts for the Padres, and then they were kind of in touch with me, and that's kind of was my contact through the whole process.
So you sort of knew going in that the team that had the most interest in you was the Padres?
Yeah, the only two teams I got calls from beforehand and were the Padres and the Cubs. So it was kind of down to those two, I guess, that showed some interest.
Okay, so now it's draft day and your name is not coming up. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, so I was actually in the Cape Cod League. I was playing their summer ball because I didn't really anticipate. I was hopeful, but I wasn't like 100% certain. So I was still playing summer ball. I was in the Cape, and the third day of the draft was I forget what day it was, but we were playing at YD, and there was no cell service, and my phone was about on like 15%, and I got a call like kind of the day before saying like, hey, like just keep your phone on you next day or so, like we'll let you know. And so it ended up raining, and we were on the bus ride back, or right before getting on the bus back to Falmouth, and I got a text saying like, hey, we still good to do this? I was like, yes. So it was, and then just see my name called, and that was just really cool, really special.
I would think that would certainly be the emotion. However, I'll put a however in there. It's the 35th round. You're the 1,044th selection. It probably doesn't give you a whole heck of a lot of confidence that now my decision is stay in college or go to the MLB and try to make the Major League Baseball team. Now, what are your thoughts?
It was definitely a waiting game to get that 35th round. It was like every round it kind of was like, oh man, come on. But hearing your name called was very special, and it was definitely not an easy decision, but like I said earlier, the opportunity to go play professional baseball that can come and go in an instant, and I can always go back and finish school. So I knew what I wanted to do, and my family was 100% behind me. So I just went for it.
I can tell you now that Joe Kinney has joined us. So it's a good time to remind everybody that if you want to be part of the Q&A portion of the show, just utilize your raise your hand feature, which can be found on your screen. So do that and throw in some questions, and hopefully we'll hear from Coach Kinney before we get out of here. Okay, David, so you're drafted. What happens?
Yeah, so I in my head, I initially thought like, oh, hey, I'll be able to go home for a couple of days and celebrate with my family. But Mitchell Leeds, another teammate, was in the Cape doing some scouting stuff, and so we actually kind of met up that night and able to kind of celebrate a little bit. And maybe 5-6 hours after the draft, I get a call from that same scout saying, hey, can you be on a plane tomorrow at 9:00 or whatever it was to Arizona? I was like, wait, so I'm not going to have a chance to go back home or anything like that? So the next day I was on a plane to Arizona, and had like 3 or 4 days, kind of like a little boot camp almost, and then got shipped off to Pasco, Washington for the short season.
Had you signed anything by now?
Yeah, once I got to Arizona, we did all the physicals and all that stuff, and then that's whenever I eventually just signed the contract.
So you like that $1 million contract? I'm sure they.
Oh yeah, the $1 million 35th round contract.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you know the stats about anybody that has been drafted beyond the 21st round, less than 5% ever make the major leagues. Only 8 have made it who were drafted in the 35th round. Did you know any of that before you made your decision?
Definitely not at the time. Definitely some interesting numbers for sure.
Maybe it's better you didn't know that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm glad I'm on the right side of those numbers, I guess.
Okay, now it's time to play some minor league baseball. So talk a little bit about your minor league experience.
Yeah, so I again, like just similar to the going to college thing, I didn't really have, I didn't really know what to expect. Really, I just wanted to show up and kind of every day compete and just kind of give it my all and just see whatever, put all the cards on the table, whatever happens, happens. And, we got to Tri-Cities and ended up throwing the ball pretty well. And then later that season, I went up to short season Fort Wayne. And then that ended my first year.
And at this point, can you survive on what you're making?
Barely. No, it was fine. We had host families. So I had a host family in Tri-Cities, and then again when I was in High A Lake Elsinore, and so funny enough, my host dad was actually a Lehigh grad, so we had a lot of fun with that. So
I'm surprised he took you in.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, you were a starter in college, right? But they made you a bullpen pitcher almost immediately.
Yeah, my first outing was just kind of out of the pen. Like I said, I didn't really, just whatever. Just give me a jersey and I'll go out there and pitch. So I just kind of ran with it. Didn't really matter to me. I definitely a little change of mindset for sure, but I like the opportunity to get the ball every day and have an opportunity to pitch. So that was definitely one of the pluses of being in the bullpen.
Well, I looked up your numbers. Tri-City Dust Devils, I looked up your numbers in 2017. You pitched in 8 games, and typically you always strike out more than you pitched. So you had struck out 15 guys. You had 2 saves, and here's the best part, a 0.00 ERA. That's a pretty good start for a guy coming out of Lafayette College in the 35th round.
I'd say. I mean, it was definitely a welcome to pro ball for sure. It was cool to see, that you just could go out there and compete and, good things happen. So that would kind of really set the tone for throughout my professional career.
Were you surprised at all by your early success?
Not really. I would say, like I said, I mean, maybe I wasn't really sure what the level of play was or anything like that, but I mean, I just knew I was going out there and I was going to compete to the best of my abilities and fill up the strike zone. And, and I've learned that, whenever that you do that, good things usually follow.
Did you also discover that your dad really gave you a great foundation as a pitcher and as a baseball player? And then Coach Kinney and his staff also developed that. And now you're in the process of developing even more of the skill to be a major league player?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't thank my dad enough for everything he's done for me, and my parents have just they've been very supportive throughout my whole entire career, and I wouldn't be here without them. And then also, I mean, I've been very fortunate along the way, kind of at every single level, to have such great coaches. I mean, going from obviously the high school stuff with my dad to the college, summer ball growing up to the college summer ball stuff, and then at college, just very supportive all the way through, and also all very helpful.
You talked about Tri-City and then going on to Fort Wayne. I'm not sure you knew, but you were the first player in your draft class to be promoted to Class A. So again, this storybook continues. Was there a tremendous learning curve going to then the next level?
Not quite, I wouldn't say. I mean, going up the ladder, each level is, has its challenges, but I would say it just kind of, most of it's mental, I would say. I mean, because it's just trying to stay within yourself and just go out there and compete, and because you're there for a reason. So just trying not to forget that and just going out there and compete, and good things happen.
In terms of developing yourself as a pitcher, were you throwing more pitches now? Did you learn new pitches? Were you able to throw the ball harder than you were coming out of college. What were some of the things that you knew you needed to do in order to get to the next level?
I knew I needed to just kind of continue to fill up the zone and, get some swing and miss with my off speed pitch. And I developed a splitter in pro ball after it was after my first year in 2017. Hideo Nomo, who was, an incredible pitcher, had an unbelievable career. He was at our instructional league in 17, and I was just kind of messing around with it. And one of our pitching instructors said, "Hey, why don't you go throw with him? Or why don't you just go talk with him about your splitter?" And, it kind of clicked relatively easy. And then I kind of made that a part of my repertoire. And, I've stayed in touch with him over the next couple of years. And every time he was in town, we worked on it. And, it was definitely something that helped me get to the big leagues for sure.
Your next stop is AA ball in Arizona, San Antonio, I guess, right?
Yeah, so I was in high A in Lake Elsinore, and then that in 2018 I got moved up for the playoffs in AA San Antonio, and then 2019 our AA affiliate got switched to Amarillo, Texas, and I was there before I made my debut. And it was a brand new stadium. Town loved baseball, awesome place to play for sure. And the Amarillo Sod Poodle. So it was a fun year.
Is life in the minor leagues difficult? Is life in the minor leagues a learning experience? Is it just great to visit some of these other places and get to learn what the U.S. is all about a little bit? Or what's minor league baseball like?
It's a grind. It's a grind without a doubt. But at the time, you don't really view it as that, just because you're so blessed to, have the opportunity to chase a dream and play baseball every day. So it's really an awesome opportunity. It can be a grind at times, but you just have to remind yourself each day that, this is a blessing. I get to do this, and I'm very fortunate to, continue to chase this dream to play in the big league. So definitely the very, very long bus rides across the country, and those aren't as glamorous as you may think, but it's definitely cool to see some places that I definitely wouldn't have seen otherwise. So from the state of Washington to Oregon to kind of all over Texas, baseball has taken me some awesome places, and it's been amazing.
Were there other players with similar stories, or were a lot of the guys from big time college programs and kind of expected to always be where you were?
It's kind of like a melting pot of a little bit of everything. You see of all the guys that are kind of late round picks like myself. You have the top round guys, then you have all the Latin guys, all the foreign guys, and all that stuff. So it's like you kind of get a little bit of everything. It's a big melting pot, and you really learn a lot about other people and other people's experiences. So it's, from that standpoint, it was really cool to see where other people are from and their stories. So definitely kind of cling towards all the Northeast guys, all the Midwest guys, and some of those guys. But overall, been very fortunate to have some really good teammates along the way, and wouldn't trade it for anything.
Who's helping you at this point with the business end of baseball?
I have an agent now. So they take care of most of all that stuff. He's out of Philadelphia actually. So, but as far as that standpoint, they kind of take care of most of it.
So you don't have to worry about negotiations or contracts, or you just have to kind of give the okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that stuff also comes kind of down the road as you kind of accrue more service time in the big leagues. All that stuff comes up later. Right now, it's kind of just go out there and prove that you belong.
Well, you had to do that. 2019, you get your first MLB camp invitation. That had to be a special moment for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's once you get that invite, you're kind of you knew I knew making the team out of the camp was definitely a long shot, but just kind of being around all those guys and all those big league guys and just kind of seeing how they go about their business, how they go about their work. Just kind of just all the little things that you just don't really, that you kind of pick up on is big time. So to carry some of that with me throughout the season, and then ultimately to get me to the big leagues was crucial.
Your MLB debut, we have video of that. So we want to show what happened when David made his major league debut. Let's take a look.
The major league debut of David Bednar. Rickard hits that well out to deep left field. Myers, though, has room. And Will makes the catch. Vote in the air to right center. Manuel Margot fighting the sun a little bit. A lot, but he's able to make the catch. Another ball in the air, and Will Myers coming in from left. And a 1-2-3 major league debut for David Bednar as the Padres close out the season series against the Giants with an 8-4 win.
Unbelievable. Once again, if you have any questions, please send your questions along to us, and we'll be able to ask David any questions you may have. All right, you're out in the bullpen. You're warming up. You've got a pretty nice lead when you come in. I would think it'd be kind of hard to throw a strike, let alone get 1, 2, 3. What's going through your head?
I mean, warming up, I was kind of all over the place. I was just like, wow, this is, taking a step back a little bit, just kind of as the game was kind of developing, I was like, oh man, gotta stay ready to throw. You just kind of stay in the game and everything like that. And then the ninth came, and then we were up 3, and then ended up going up 1 more. So they were like, oh, hey, Bednar, you got it if we go up 1. So, warming up the mound in San Francisco, it was a huge crowd Sunday day game. It was really just heart was racing for sure. Jogging out to the mound, just kind of looking around, just kind of really soaking it all in. And then, but once I stepped on the mound, it was just kind of like, soak this in later. I still have a job to do and gotta get these guys out. So I think I went 3-0 on the first batter. So that was
All right.
I was like, come on, man, let's throw a strike here. But definitely good to get out of that one unscathed.
Any family there?
So I flew from, I found out the day before, and I flew from Amarillo to San Francisco that Sunday morning at like 5 a.m. and got in like an hour and a half before game time. And then right after the San Francisco game, we flew to Arizona. So all my family, my girlfriend, all my college friends, they all met me there. So that was just really special. They all met me there, and a lot of them took off work. And like I said earlier, all the relationships that you build at Lafayette, they've been so supportive throughout that, and it's just been so cool.
Introduce everybody in the picture. Oh, now we have a lot of people.
Oh yeah. So we got quite a few. My dad, my sister, my mom, my pitching coach growing up, my some other coaches of my summer ball team, my cousins, and then we got Tyler Hudson, Mitch Leeds, Connor McMahon, James McCool in that one, my mom, my girlfriend. So definitely a good crew out there in Arizona.
I had the same response that one of our viewers from Ryan Callahan. And I kind of felt the same way when I saw the highlights of your major league debut. Did you think the first fly out was going to go out of the park?
Oh, yeah. So in Amarillo, where I was the whole year, it was definitely a short porch, and the ball just flew out. So anytime I heard anytime you heard of any sort of solid contact, it was like, oh God. But thankfully it was a little bit of a deeper park, and Will tracked it down. So definitely the thought crossed my mind. I was like, oh man, this is how we're gonna start. But thankfully it was just an out.
Every game seems to be a game of inches. Can you imagine if that was your opener and what that might have done to you psychologically? Kate Arnold asks, who's the coolest person you ever had a chance to meet?
I mean, that list is very long. I mean, being teammates with some of the best players in the game, Fernando Tatis, playing with him, coming up the system. You know, having guys like Manny Machado behind you, Will Myers, and I mean, to just pick one would just do everybody else injustice, I think. But you know, just all the other guys, all the old guys, just so cool to kind of have them have your back, and you know, guys like Eric Hosmer, Kirby Yates, Craig Stammen, just all of them. It's been surreal.
How about outside of baseball? Anybody, because of your status now, that you've been able to meet?
I'm not quite there yet, so I haven't really, I haven't got to pull those strings.
Who's the most intimidating player you ever had to face?
I couldn't say for a different team, but I know one of the guys who's you know, a tough at bat always with us during all the inter squad stuff is Tommy Pham. He's a tough guy, fierce competitor, and would not want to mess with that guy.
So you struggle a little bit when you throw against him?
You know, he's always good at bat for sure.
I think you have already made the opening day roster, right?
In 2020, I made my first opening day roster. I was kind of up and down the whole year, but I mean, definitely making that was a really special moment.
Is up and down a normal thing, though, because of contract verbiage and all of that?
No, just kind of, I was just, you know, I just trying to stick in the major leagues is pretty tough. So sometimes it always doesn't go your way. So just trying to, just being up in the majors or down in the minor leagues. So that's what that basically is.
You've gone from, I think at Lafayette, you threw the ball in the 80s, high 80s. And now some say you throw it at 98 miles an hour. How does that happen?
Some say.
Some say.
I definitely have seen a tick up in my velo. I was probably upper 80s to low 90s in college, and then kind of each year I've seen a little bit of an increase. So I think that's kind of more of this kind of day-to-day trust in the process type thing, and going about my business and doing more of the right exercises and stuff like that has helped me kind of on that end.
We have another question from Benjamin Lowe Brown. Who are some of the pitchers that have influenced you the most?
So I remember in high school being a big Pirates fan, watching Garrett Cole and AJ Burnett whenever they were that's when the Pirates were kind of taking off. And I remember just kind of they had like a certain attitude on the mound, very aggressive, and just really went and attacked hitters. So I would say those two guys, like especially growing up in high school and college, trying to emulate that. And then once you get to pro ball, seeing all the guys that, you know, taking little bits and pieces from some of the different guys I've played with now has been pretty beneficial.
I know. I mean, I played college baseball myself, and I know that one of the differences as you go up through any system is how technical the game becomes. Is it the most technical at the major leagues? I mean, are there so many little things that you learn?
Funny enough, I found that you know, the game really just kind of stays the same. The competition obviously goes up a lot, but the game's still the same. My mindset's still the same. I just go out there and compete, try and fill up the zone, and you know, like I said earlier, when you do that, good things tend to happen. So that's been my mindset the whole time.
We have a live question from Frank Kraska. So we'll put Frank on camera and Frank can ask his question.
Thanks. And Dave, great to hear from you. Obviously, I'm probably sitting about 10 minutes from where you're sitting, proud fighting planet. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hopefully we can get a bite to eat soon before they shut all the restaurants down. But just to kind of talk about, build off what you're talking about with this past season, talk a little bit about how you're going back and forth from the alternate site to the big league site. Obviously, this is something that Major League Baseball had never really done before. With roster limits, I know they started off with 30 guys, went down to 28, down to 26. I know you went back probably 3 or 4 times. So speak a little bit to what that experience is like. Were you throwing live to hitters? Were you just with your staff? Were you just throwing pens? And then also, if you could just speak a little about what you think this year's going to look like. Obviously, with baseball, the schedule's out. We're hoping to play 162 games. Have you heard anything about that could be changed? And also, what your goals are for the season? Obviously, make a big league roster, be ready to go in March would be my guess. But just speak a little about that, and hope to see you soon, buddy. And roll Pards.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So as far as the up and down went, it was our alternate site was at the University of San Diego. So thankfully I was able to stay just in an apartment in downtown San Diego the whole time. So it was either just kind of walk to the park at a Petco or a 10-minute drive to USD. So we were able to use their facilities, and just about every day we had like a just 4 or 5 inning kind of inter squad. So when I was there, it was trying to just keep my innings up, and just I was throwing about every other day, just like an inning or so, just working on stuff and trying to get right. And it was basically just like 30 or so guys. So it was just kind of definitely different than a normal season, but trying to make that as game-like as possible, just so, you know, going from there to a big league game, you're not kind of, you're ready to go. You're not kind of just lackadaisical. So as far as that goes, that we kept it relatively, game-like, and just trying to get some good at bats and stuff like that, and trying to stay sharp. And then as far as this next year goes, I haven't heard anything really yet. I think a lot of it's just going to depend on how everything kind of shakes out. But obviously my goal is, train hard this off season and just be ready and try and make a team come spring training, whatever that is. So, just trying to control whatever I can control, and, just trying to make a team.
We have a question from Kevin McKernan. A good question. He's a coach, obviously. He says, as someone coaching young players, what are the right workouts or exercises you're doing now that you may not have done in the past? And how has your workout routine changed?
Honestly, I would say, especially to younger guys, the biggest thing that I've learned, or just kind of done by growing up and everything like that, was just trying to get as big, fast, and strong as I possibly could, and just kind of building that foundation. Just because you get older, you get bigger, you get stronger, and and then staying kind of consistent with all your mechanics, whether it be pitching, hitting, and all that stuff, just kind of staying within yourself. And then, as you get bigger and stronger, good things happen. So I wouldn't say there's one thing, but, also the workload during a pro season compared to a college season is much different, just because you play every day. So it's just trying to shift the workouts in the season is key. So not trying to blow it out just to get a good lift in and then having to pitch that night. So it's more just kind of trying to stay within yourself and be smart. But I mean, as far as young kids go, I just say, get big, fast, and strong. So, and, good things happen.
We have a question from Tom Ojakian, who is the senior associate commissioner of the American Athletic Conference, a Lafayette grad. He said, I've often heard that one of the biggest differences with pitching in the majors versus the minors is a pitch mistake often will become a home run, where you could get away with a mistake in the minors. Have you had a situation where you made what you thought was a perfect pitch and can't believe the batter still hit it out for extra bases?
Not quite certain pitches, but it's just like, you definitely can't get away with as much, just trying to be all around the zone and filling up the zone is, it's been my game and how I've been able to be successful so far. But there's definitely some times where you have to just tip your hat and say, he beat me, but that's, for a guy like me, that's pretty tough to do, tough to say, I should say, not tough to do. But it's just trying to go out there and compete the best you can, and just however it shakes out, it shakes out.
Have you given up a home run?
Yeah, I give my fair share.
Well, you know what? This has been a terrific conversation. We wish you the very best. We hope this year is a great one. Relief pitchers are a premium right now. You have to feel good about that.
Oh, for sure.
So this is your time, man, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
David, thanks so much for spending time with us. We wish you the very best in your upcoming season, and have a great career as a Major League Baseball player. And thanks for joining us tonight on Primetime Pards.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I do want to remind everybody that you can celebrate 50 years of co-education. There is a website if you go to goleopards.com, or just go to lafayette.edu, and you can see that presentation celebrating 50 years of co-education. Also, we will have another Primetime Pards in January. We'll share with you who that will be and the date. You can simply go on social media or goleopards.com when that announcement is made. We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight for edition number 6, particularly David Bednar, who is on to bigger and better things in Major League Baseball. So thank you so much for all of us. I'm Gary Laubach. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, everybody.